There is currently a unique opportunity on the horizon, and I would like to share it with you. This is ticker symbol ASRE, and there is a statistical metric here that can lead the price action to astronomical highs. Let's go over those details right now so that we can gain an edge over the markets in the coming sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with an ASRE technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, team. So yes, this is actually ticker symbol ASRE, and I want to bring up a couple things here. Okay, so first of all, hold on just a sec. Let's go ahead and just bring up this right over here. Okay, team, this is going to be, here we go. All right, so this is the daily chart, and we're going to start off with the ARQ algo. Okay, and this is going to be enhanced MACD, which is absolutely a powerful indicator. And if you guys are familiar, with my strategy, right, you guys usually know that I speak of volatility versus momentum, right? So volatility versus momentum is essentially the footprint model. So, you know, my master students, they all know what it is, right? So that is essentially what this is, represented in one indicator. Okay, team. So what we're looking at here is the clouds representing the Bollinger Bands, aka volatility, momentum displayed by these dots right here. And it does have bear and bull signals, right, in order for us to consider position entry for our simulator trades and paper trades, right? It's already active and ready to go. So, you know, just in case we're ready to put a trade in, right? Anyway, team. So what we want to focus on here is that we have fired a bull signal, and this essentially fired right down here at about 10 cents, right? So actually, I'm sorry, it fired right over here at about, if that is a red candle, then that's going to tell us a different story, right? Yes. So this is a red candle. Essentially fired out about 14 cents, and the price action has moved, as you can see, pretty violently to the upside. What I want to show you here is, in fact, the distance between the dots, right, in momentum. You see how they tighten up, the dots tighten up as the downside may be more pertinent, but then they start expanding and they start separating from each other as soon as you get more of an upside general, I would say, suggestion, right? So that's kind of what's happening right now. The little blue balls are starting to, no pun intended. We should probably change the color now, right? So anyway, so yeah, you can see how they're starting to separate. The distance between them are starting to get a little expansive right here, which is also indicative of expansion and volatility in general. Right, so this is indicative of a continuation to the upside, despite the fact that we had a pullback here. But the pullback is normal. It isn't actually something that was based on. I mean, it's just part of the game, right? It's just part of the game. But let's look at this, okay? In order for you to gain a price objective after trading this descending channel, you would actually take a trend line from the top of the channel all the way to the bottom side, and you apply it to the breakout candle, which could be that one right there, right? So let's go ahead and apply it there. And the topside target suggested as a psychological price objective would be 42.95. And you can see right over here that the price action reached a high of about 44, right? So ever so slightly to the upside. It was pretty, I mean, that's pretty dead on, right? So that's not bad at all. Okay, team. So that is likely one of the reasons in technical perspectives, right? Of course, there are fundamental reasons and other metrics to keep in mind. But as far as the charting is concerned, this was very likely to face a pullback from that zone there. Okay, team. So the important part here is that not only did we get that MACD to show us that long signal, but we also got a long signal here, slightly more aggressive with the ARC armor, right? So this is the ARQ armor, and a lot of people like this because this is officially the secret sauce behind the long and short signals, right? So this one came in slightly more aggressive. You can see it came in right at this candle, which is right before the enhanced MACD. giving us that long signal from pretty much 10 cents. Enhanced MACD gave it to us at about 14 cents, right? So the combination of these algos are absolutely powerful, okay, team? So definitely consider reaching out to us at arqindicators@gmail.com to get your hands on these algos, right, team? So they are absolutely working magic here for us, okay, team? So let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart, okay? And this is the statistical side of the analysis, team, and this is pretty much that raw fashion volatility versus momentum that we just saw here, represented as an indicator, except in a very manual format here. I have backtested a certain criteria. Any time that we have contracted into critical contraction area, which could be within the 15th percentile, and started an upside thrust or an expansion phase paired with an upside pivot on stochastic momentum, that criteria has actually given us this data set right over here. But let's go over what I measured, right? So I measured the duration of the iteration, right? So for example, here, this iteration was 14 days. This one's 22. This one's 14. And the upside thrust, right? This in particular was 591% to the upside. This one's 79%. This one's 291. A lot of variance, right? And also the amount of times that the profile, which is the volatility versus momentum, gets the upside correctly versus incorrectly, marked with these green lines here. So as you can see here, there are no red lines, which is indicative of a 100% accuracy, right? Of course, it's just because we don't have that many iterations happening throughout the 5-day chart, throughout the entire trading history of ASRE, right? So this is telling us this data set right over here. So from this sample, we actually brought this up. So let's take a look here. You're looking at 7 out of 7 iterations guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an upside accuracy of 100% with an average upside thrust, aka the mean, of 435.88% over the span of about 21.14 days, right? This is a proof of work, and I've also calculated the standard deviation calculations here. So if you are familiar with the bell curve in statistics, right? So the 68% of the results landing in the average performers is leading to a massive 875.17%. We're going to put all these targets in relevance right now so that you can see what I'm talking about, right? And we have a lower bound for the lower bound of the first standard deviation, damn it, right? So is a negative value, and we're not going to be able to use that, right? So statistically speaking, we can't. So now we do have the upper bound of the first standard deviation, which is coming up to an even further target that has so much confluence. I do have to tell you, this 1,311.05% to the upside has some validity, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how. Okay, first of all, this the firing of the signal happened the moment that we actually started to pivot towards the upside beyond the 15th percentile of volatility paired with stochastic momentum, right? So that marks the firing of the signal right down here at about 9:46. Okay, so if we measure the mean 435.88, you can see here that would be suggesting a top side of about 50.81. And now if we draw a trend line right at that 50.81, that's close enough there. You can see that we're dangerously close to that. Not only that, look at how close it is to the 1.618. So geometrically speaking, the target statistically and in geometrics is meeting pretty nicely. Okay, now the next target we want to look at are the 68% of the average performers, right, being the 875.17 at the standard deviation, right? So this would be close enough here. So 875%, right? So that would take us to a target of about 80.91 to 91.79. Okay, and that is also confluent with the 2.272 at about 92 cents, right? So nice. That's very nice. So now I'm actually looking at, I know this is a bit frothy, right? I know that this is a kind of a long way up, but I do have to point out here that with the 5-day time frame, stochastic momentum has just entered the bullish control zone with both the EMA3 and the SMA14, which are, the stochastic momentum is comprised of those two moving averages is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is barely entering that bullish control zone, and it's still pivoted, straight to the upside. This thing is moonshotting here, right? And we are increasing the gas in this. We are literally throttling towards that towards the upside here, right? So remember, volatility is direction neutral. So in this case, when we are expanding, that means that more and more shares are being traded on average. Okay, team. So now the last target that I'm looking at here is, of course, the upper bound of the first standard deviation landing at about 1,300% to the upside. That gives us a target of about $1.33. Look at the 2.618 golden mean, right? Located at 131. And one more thing, the Gaussian channel top band located right at about 129. Extreme areas of confluence here, team. So this is telling me that we are on our way up to, first of all, the 68% of the performers landing right at about 80, 91, this area right here, right? So we can see a touchback here, potential pullback to test that 47-cent range, or 50-cent range, sorry, and then a continuation to the upside to overall fulfill that 130 range, 129 to 133, statistically speaking, geometrically speaking, and also, I guess, this is the Gaussian band, right? The mathematician Gaussian himself. So this is another form of statistic too. So it's pretty nice. It's definitely giving us some accurate reads here, team. So I am looking at this target of 131. We're presently at 35.98, mind you. Okay, team. So if we were to just kind of, put together here a little thesis, like what is that percentage to that upside? If we were to make that move from this point, 36 cents, to that of 131, you're looking at 254 spots, 64% to the upside to go, right? So massive upside. We have just validity everywhere though, okay? So now let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis, right? And actually, you know what? One more thing here to give us some validations. Go ahead and take a look at this target right up here. This is the reversion variant. This is the Bollinger Band suggesting about a 167 top. 167 top, of course. That would be natural to the 130, to the 133 or 131 top, as it would just be a resistance range, right? So 167 to 133 could essentially be the overall resistance to look at, right? So just like this, we can draw it in. So 131 to about let's just say, there we go. And this now marks our area of resistance based on the Bollinger Bands, aka volatility, based on the Gaussian bands, based on the statistical upside of 1,300%, and the geometric levels. So this is all, I mean, if the geometric levels are also psychological too. So we have everything meeting that, right, team? So the only thing I don't know here, and you can go ahead and let me know in the comments below, the only thing I don't know is the fundamental aspect. And if we have a fundamental catalyst within this move, damn, team, that is a massive catalyst, and that would give this play, I think I would probably rate this play a solid B plus if we did get that catalyst in line. And the reason why I wouldn't rate this an A plus is for the fact that it's a high risk play, right? We definitely have a low float and a small cap, right? So please look at this right here. You're looking at a market capitalization of 23.95 mil. And a float of about 45.7 mil. So, I mean, that's what's reported here. So it's kind of tiny, right? This thing can get mangled. One more catalyst to put up in here, team, is that today we officially got the 5-day close of this candle. Look at this. Let me just block out the perfect, team. What you're looking at here are the 3 white soldiers candle formation. 3 white soldiers is representative of a continuation to the upside, and it's generally looked at as a very bullish signal, okay? And now we just got the 5-day closure. We're talking about 5-day candles here. So it took 5 days each candle to create this, right? So that's pretty impressive. So it definitely took a few weeks here to create the formation. The upside is highly likely, right? So we just got to go ahead and kind of deal with the immediate short term and find out what that's going to do, right? Because there could be an opportunity for a long entry. 30-minute immediate short-term time frame still suggesting an upside here. We have, let's see, consolidation on the bi-hourly, and it looks like the 6 hours giving us that potential pullback. Let's see the 4-hour. Yeah, it's actually in the 6-hour time frame. Short-term pullback. The reason why I'm saying short-term is because this is within the gravitational zone here. So the RSI signal would essentially come down, meet the SMA 14 represented by this pink line here. This is a traditional RSI setup, relative strength index. And I know it says ARC RSI. That's just marked after me because I wanted to color it so that you can understand what I'm looking at. Right, team? So yeah, short-term pullback here, potential mid-session tomorrow. We can definitely find a bounce from this area and continue onwards and upwards per the momentum indicators. Look at this 8-hour time frame. I get it. It's in the overbought percentile, but it's still suggesting an upside pivot. Jumping onto the 12-hour, this thing is still moonshotting. Daily time frame upside pivot. Look at this on the 3-day, just a very aggressive upside, entering the gravitational zone here, and the 5-day time frame entering the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile. Okay, so this is bull weakness, this is bear weakness, this is bear strength, and this is bull strength. Overall, half and half, bullish control zone, bearish control zone. Okay, that's essentially how I look at momentum and how I observe it. Okay, team. So this is indicative of a continuation to the upside, and it tells me that it's highly likely going to continue with some ebb and flow. Okay, team. So definitely know that there could be a pullback here, and that pullback, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If there's immediate short-term upside, then we could be looking at a pullback either literally to this zone here back to 36 cents or this range between 34.18 and 34.97. Let's keep an eye on those targets there, team, and everything will be okay. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good situation here, team. Full transparency here. We've been covering this in the live streams, right? And I expressed my transparency there. I am already long this ticker, and I do expect it to continue onwards and upwards, okay? Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Literally mañana, early. Adios.